Grand Rising, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great Monday so far. Was you asking me something, Deja? Huh? What y'all talking about? Y'all doing a lot of talking up in here. Hey, Miss Dolores. Hello there. Hey, Evangelist. Hey, Lolita. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday, everybody. Okay, guys, we are in another. Listen, this week is a little power packed a little bit, okay? We have a couple updates. This case here is an update. If you have missed the previous episodes of this case, feel free to look on the live tab on YouTube so that you will be able to get updated on what's going on with this case. This case is based out of Kentucky in the Appalachian area, and we've been keeping up with it thus far. So this is just like a quick update. Also, I don't know if y'all remember, but a while back, we also talked about a case out there in Australia where a woman had killed her family members with beef Wellington. Well, we're going to do an update on that case this week as well too. So make sure that you do turn on your notification bells as all of them, all of the shows for this week has been posted. Bigo, yeah, I just was on Bigo. I went to go say hi. We had a very inspirational discussion this morning. They're still mad at me because they don't have news, but they still love me and I love them too. Hey, the real books. Hey, 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 hey. Wait. Make sure that you guys also remember we have the Royal Lock Box that is at the end of this month, the last Saturday of the month. If you want to submit your letters to the Royal Lock Box, all you have to do is email savageroyaltyent@gmail.com, savageroyaltyent@gmail.com, in order for you to get your entries in. For those of you that don't know what the Royal Lock Box is, the Royal Lock Box allow you the opportunity to write about anything. You can write into me and get some advice, okay, on anything, relationships, loves, career, kids, your spouse, whoever. And you can write into me, dump it off, lock it in a box, and if you want to remain anonymous, just put "lock me in the box royalty" as your subject line, and nobody would never know who you are, okay? Alrighty, let's get into this case. All right, now this case here is kind of crazy, and I've been watching it really, really closely, okay? So on September the 19th of 2024, okay, Sheriff Mickey Stines, he walks into the courthouse. Now keep in mind that this is really small town. Not just small town, but this is Appalachian small town, okay? Where everybody knows everybody, the birds chirp and the whispers are loud, all right? So he walks into the courtroom and he goes right into the judge's chambers, okay? The judge is sitting there smoking a cigarette and he's there with four other people, okay? When he walks in, he's already looking around and checking around and looking around corners and things of that nature, and then he decides to sit down. When he sits down, he then tells the four people that they needed to leave out of the judge's chambers. So he sits there with the judge, okay? Him and the judge are across from each other as the judge is sitting in his chair. Sheriff Mickey Stines is sitting across from him. Sheriff Mickey Stines then take his cell phone. He scrolls through it a little bit, and then he takes the judge's cell phone, and then he does something on it, which many people begin to, wonder what that something was. Now, when it comes to this case, it's not really about did he shoot the judge, because it was caught on camera that he shot the judge. It's the reason behind it, his mental status, and could this be a bigger problem in which he possibly thought he had to protect not only his family, but the community itself, because this sheriff is not just any sheriff. He is the head top sheriff, okay? He is the one that had been voted in for years because people in this county really like him, and he's really about the people. He's really about the kids. He also did a lot of different initiatives for drug abuse and things of that nature. So he's well loved. Now, when it came down to this judge, he was known, he was liked, but there was some birds chirping and whispers that was loud about the judge and the things that was going on in the chambers, okay? Now, there was some surveillance cameras that did capture this. Now, the rumor that began to come out is that he had took the judge's phone and he had contacted his own daughter, okay, from the judge's phone. Now, you may ask yourself, why would the sheriff feel the need to contact his daughter from the judge's phone? Well, the rumor was that the judge had been having an inappropriate relationship with Sheriff Mickey Stein's daughter. who was a minor at the time. Okay? That was the rumor originally. Now, now that court, now that now that the courts are looking at everything, the question now is whether or not he was mentally stable. As for the rumor, they're saying that they don't believe that the judge was actually in contact with his daughter, okay? Because who called the daughter was Sheriff Mickey Stines. Sheriff Mickey Stines called the daughter from the judge's phone. And honestly, I think that he called the daughter's phone from the judge's he called the daughter's phone from the judge's phone because he wanted to see would his daughter reply to it. And you're going to know why later, okay? So witnesses and co-workers, they say that he wasn't acting himself leading up to the whole shooting. He had believed that his house was being watched. He had told people that his wife and his daughter were in danger, and he wore a bulletproof vest while at his house. So on the Ring camera, you can see him making his family check on his daughter, insisting that they are ready for some form of attack that was to come. Now, Christine Bowling, a staffer, she had testified that Stines had told her a local attorney had demanded money and had told him to off himself or they will kill his wife and his daughter. Now, one day before the shooting, it is also said that Stines had saw his family. He saw his family doctor because of this said mental state that he was in. Okay, and he saw the doctor, but he says that they said that he denied any form of depression or any form of psychosis, but the doctor had still diagnosed him of having some form of acute stress reaction, okay, because of his sleepless nights and things that were happening in the days leading up to the shooting. Now, when it comes to the body camera and the jail evaluation, when the police had arrested him, they did say that he said, "Don't kill me," okay? "Don't kill me" is what they say he said, and he also had made a statement basically that they were after him, okay? That the state was after him, and that he felt like that he had to protect his wife and his family. Okay, give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second, 1 second. Okay, so when the police had arrested him, he says, "Don't kill me. I won't take another breath. I'm leaving this building." So 4 days later, a jail social worker had evaluated him. So her notes had said that he was in an active state of psychosis and didn't know where he was or what was going on and didn't understand his charges. So he was combative and he had to be pepper sprayed at some point. He was prescribed some form of antipsychotics as well and given multiple medications. According to his defense, he had no memory of the shooting and what happened. Okay? Now, here is where things get a little crazy because you may ask yourself, well, why in the world would a sheriff feel the need to kill a judge? Well, there was a lawsuit that was circulating prior to the shooting. This lawsuit basically alleges that this judge was taking people in his chambers for sexual pleasures. Okay, so there was a woman that had sued the sheriff Mickey Stines, the judge, as well as a bailiff. The reason why she sued them is because she alleges that the bailiff and the judge would basically give her these little perks and these takeaways if she participate in sexual activities with them in the judge's chambers in exchange for her not to be on house arrest. The whispers in the community when all of this first came out was, wait, this is a known thing. This judge is known to sit outside the courtroom, smoke a cigarette, and ask young girls and invite them into his chambers for sexual pleasures. It was also already found that this bailiff had already been found to be guilty of not only drugs, but also taking part of sexual favors in the courtroom, in the judge's chambers, this judge's chambers. Okay? So he had already been convicted of that. So the victim of that situation had then came forward, and what she did was she sued Sheriff Mickey Stines. Because she feels as though because he was the lead sheriff, it was his responsibility to properly train his officers to not partake in these type of activities that was going on into the chambers. So she added him to it. Okay. Now, the civil suit. To understand the pressure of Stines, you also have to look at the civil case. So Deputy Ben Fields, okay, this is the deputy and the bailiff. Ben Fields had been accused of letting women avoid jail time in exchange for sex. Some of these acts were also said to have happened in Mullins' chambers. So Fields was eventually convicted of R-wording someone and some other things as well, the S, okay? But the civil case didn't end there. In just 3 days before the shooting that happened at the courthouse, okay, Steins himself had just now been he just was at a disposition, okay? And in this disposition, he was being questioned about what was going on at Sheriff Mickey the judge's chambers, okay? Now, Stines himself, he was at this disposition, and the accusers had came forward. One of them being a woman by the name of Tanya Ataya Adams, and she says that she was forced to have sex in Mullins' chambers, calling the courthouse a brothel. Okay, and another former deputy by the name of Sarah Davis, she was also invited to the courthouse for sex parties, but she had refused. So no charges were ever filed against Judge Mullins. But the courthouse reputation had already begun to crumble and had been crumbling for years. Remember what I said earlier. This was small town Appalachian where the whispers get a little loud, but everybody knows what's going on. Okay? But in the center of this was Sheriff Mickey Stines and the number one question of why did he do this? Okay? What caused him to go into this said psychosis? Is anyone doing their job? Hey, Creole, listen here. Let me tell you something. When I looked at the video of the shooting, I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm from a major city. I've never seen a judge smoking a cigarette in the chambers. Let's just start there. Okay? The judge was smoking a whole cigarette as him and Sheriff Mickey Stines are sitting there talking. Here I am thinking that I'm walking through a very saved and sanctified courthouse where such unclean things does not occur. But apparently down there in Letcher County, Kentucky, okay, this is really small town, backwoods, smoke cigarettes in the chambers, have a little fornication party, partake with the drug addicts, all within the courthouse. That's what this courthouse gives. This courthouse gives sex parties at night, corruption in the day, and whatever else can go on within this courthouse. That's what goes on in Letcher County. Okay? When I was investigating it early on, there were people even talking about hidden deaths and things connected to this courthouse. There were victims outside of the victim in the lawsuit who came forward and said, I was sitting outside of the courthouse. I was sitting on the bench, and the judge was there as well. And I was sitting there, and the judge offered that if I partake in some sexual activities with him, he will take off my house arrest bracelet, and he will only put it on in order for me to go to court. Okay? And this had been going on for years. Now, when the detective of this whole situation had testified before the grand jury, he had told them that Stines was in a very sane mind, and that's what the jurors had heard. But his defense lawyers do argue that that was false. They point that the co-workers, doctors, and witnesses all described some form of paranoia, delusion, and psychosis before this actual shooting. They also say that some point in time during this whole grand jury that the jurors was misled and that many of the details were downplayed. Okay, where they downplayed the whole Mullins doing this sex for favors thing. Okay, They basically tried to act like that this could not be the root of the problem, okay? When in fact, I believe that it actually was. So the defense has also filed a motion to dismiss the indictment, and they did argue that the jury was tainted by false and misleading testimonies, and that the judge has yet to rule on that part as of right now. Now, when it comes to this case and the update in it, we know that he shot the judge. That's not the question here. The question is, was he in a sane mind? Okay? Because if he was not in a sane mind, then that means that he would not qualify for first degree, because with first degree, he needs an intent. And if he was in a state of psychosis, and when he came out of this psychosis, he doesn't even remember shooting someone, there could be no intent. So that's the current status of this case right now. Okay? So Stines was evaluated by the Kentucky Correctional Psychiatric Center. The report does exist, but it is sealed, and the defense did want it to be unsealed, or at least available for their case to continue. Okay, the prosecutors do argue that unsealing would make it impossible for this case to be fair at any point in time. Okay, reason being is because this judge is being accused of inappropriate activities, not just with women, okay, but possibly people who are minors as well. Okay? And I'm going to be honest, the response that I'm getting from the community of Letcher County, they don't care about this judge being deceased. And that's their response. Okay? They don't really care. So that's what they mean by it would make it be a little bit biased. And so with them undermining the original lawsuit is kind of crazy, because I believe that this lawsuit play a big role in this. And I think that these threats that he is talking about, I think that the threats are real. Okay? I think that the threats is what made him go into a psychosis. Okay? And the reason why I say that is from what I gather from the people of Letcher County, this is a sheriff who was well respected. His family was well known. He was well loved, okay, in this community. And I think that he was between a rock and a hard place. Reason being is this: either I go along with this secret and the lies that you guys are undermining of this judge opening up his chambers for sexual favors for defendants. Okay? Either I allow you guys to undermine this fact, or I expose everybody who plays a role in this. One of the two happens here. But if I expose everybody that is in the midst of this, I am in danger. My family is in danger. My daughter is in danger if I do that. But now my reputation is being scorned because of the actions of my coworkers, from the actions of those in which I lead. So he's in between a rock, a double mask, right? Like he's between a rock and a hard place. Now, the only way that I can see this turning against him is if they determine that he was in that chamber as well, which could have caused a said psychosis, because he would then be in fear that his wife and daughter is going to find out about these experiences in the chambers. I don't believe that part, though. I don't believe that the sheriff himself was in the chambers. I really don't. I really think that this was a good guy turned bad due to the systematic like secrets and lies and deceit, and he's being taken under by it as well. That's how I view this. Do I believe the psychosis thing? Absolutely. Because if you can see his face when he first got arrested, he looked like he was in some form. He didn't look, this is not the look he had. He looked like his eyes were kind of bugged. Let me see if I can pull a picture. Give me a second so I can show y'all. His eyes were sort of like bugged out. Like he didn't look right, guys. Okay? Here we go. I hate that I had to pull this up here like this, but this is the closest picture I have. But this is him, okay? He didn't he this is how he looked when he got arrested, guys. Okay? He looked just like this. He looked bugged out. He looked like he was in a state of shock. Like he did not realize what he had just did. His eyes looked crazy. Nothing like this picture right here. Okay? And that right there can be a telltale sign of some form of psychosis, as if he really doesn't understand what's happening. But I think that this disposition caused it. He looked scared. He did. He looked scared. He looked out of it. He looked like, you can tell that he wasn't in his right state of mind. That's what you can tell, okay? Now, where it stands as of right now, okay? The defense want the indictment to be dismissed, okay? They want the KCPC report unsealed. They're also fighting for a second evaluation. They want a bond as well. And the prosecutors want a venue change, okay? Because once again, this is small town culture. And do I think that this case deserves some form of change of venue? Yeah, if we're talking clear, unbiased justice. And it's because the community itself has already set their belief. And they have set this belief week 1, week 2 of the crime. They already see this guy as a hero. That's how the community is viewing him. Okay? While the judicial system is wanting to bring justice forward. So I think that in order to ensure clear, fair justice happens, that there should be some form of change of venue. Because finding jurors for a trial for this case is going to be difficult in Letcher County. It's not going to be easy. And it's because this is a small town and everybody knows about the case. Not only does everybody knows about the case, they also know about the whispers. And some of them know about the whispers that we don't know. So it will only be beneficial. I don't think he would get no jail time, but possibly sent to a mental facility. I think so as well. I don't see this man doing a lick of time. I don't. I don't see him doing a lick of time. I don't see him serving. And by the way, if he is found guilty, he can face the death penalty. The question now, though, in this update, was he mentally sane when he did this? Because if he was not mentally sane, and if he was in a psychosis, okay, there's no intent and there's no first degree. Simple. It's impossible for there to be. Okay? And if there are people that are saying that he was already paranoid the days leading up to this, he was already, showing signs and saying statements that directs to the fact that he's in some form of psychosis, the chances of him being 100% convicted of first degree murder is slim. Okay? Very, very slim. So when they do the trial, though, we are going to be looking and seeing what the world is going on. But me, myself, I think that this sheriff here, y'all, felt like that he was in danger. One of the first statements that he said is that they're trying to take my wife and kids. Somebody said that to him, and that is my belief. Okay? That is not a fact. That is my belief. I believe that someone said this to him, and it triggered a psychosis. You will be amazed on what can trigger a psychosis. What can trigger a psychosis can be an act. It can be what someone says verbally. It can be what someone does to you. It can be a lot of different things that can trigger a psychosis. How someone treated you. It could be fear. It could be emotion. It's a lot of different things that could have triggered this. And I don't think that threat was, I don't think that the threat itself is fake. It's a reason that he felt that way. If a person just doesn't go and decide to do something like this, of course, I can't show y'all the video because it's kind of crazy. Um, but partial of the video is posted on my TikTok, okay? Where I am going to be following the rest of the case too. And if any updates do come from this case, you guys will be able to know about it. Just make sure that you, if you are new here, make sure that you do subscribe, okay? Make sure that you do subscribe. Now, if you guys haven't done so, please turn on your notifications for all of the shows this week. Tomorrow's case, y'all, is kind of crazy. If y'all remember that I know y'all remember the mushroom lady, the one whose husband was trying to kill, the one whose husband family was killed, and he was trying to leave her, so she had a dinner, and in this dinner he was supposed to come, and his family came and things of that nature, but he never came. Okay. Well, it came out that apparently, remember, we were trying to figure out why the husband didn't go and how did she lure them to her house? Well, apparently there was a fake cancer diagnosis. Okay. And the husband was trying to leave her. But the cherry on top was now they're trying to charge her with her husband too, because it looks like that she tried to kill him prior to trying to kill his in laws, who she actually killed. Okay. We're going to get into the details of that update too, because that case is crazy. Based out of uh Australia. For those of you that don't know, she killed her family members with death cap mushrooms. She made some form of meal for them, and it killed them all. It was 5 of them that was sick, but about 2 or 3 of them passed away from it. And she looks like that you remember that. Yes. So we're going to do an update tomorrow. So make sure that y'all are definitely here. Okay. Be here, be here, be here. If you are not doing so already, please make sure that you do follow me on TT as well as Instagram. And I'm on Facebook as well. I'm all over. Okay. For those of you that do not know, I had to make a new Facebook account because my other one was acting a little crazy. So I am going to drop my newest one in the chat as well so that you guys can follow me over there too, as I do post some things over there too. And I'm also going to drop my TikTok for you guys to be able to follow me on TikTok, as I do keep updated stories. And sometimes stories that I cover on YouTube and TikTok are very different. So you want to make sure that you are following me everywhere, okay? Because sometimes I cover multiple cases in one day and they're not on all platforms. Okay. So make sure that you are following me everywhere. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to pull up my TikTok for y'all. Give me 1 second. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. 1 second, 1 second. I'm trying to grab my links, y'all. Where's my? Here we go. And I do know that a lot of people was on the Bigo side was asking me when I will be returning. I will be returning on Bigo when I meet 10K followers on TikTok. Okay. I will be giving you guys shows. Now, would it be Monday through Friday? Absolutely not. Okay. I love y'all. But it will not be Monday through Friday. It will possibly be once or twice a month as you guys requested. Okay. You guys requested that. We made that deal last week. So 10,000 followers is where I will press live on Bigo once a month, but I will be on TikTok a lot more, but on live. Okay. So make sure that you do follow me, follow me, follow me. And don't forget to get your letters in. Okay. Get your letters in. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Next week is crazy, Savage. You just followed this. We're just Monday. Next week. Child. Y'all have a good day, okay? Have a really, really, really great day. Thank you for watching True Crime with Savage Royalty.